The biggest challenge we've faced is execution on the stage.
Some of us is like nervous.
Struggled to play like how we did in scrims.
Composure.
Pressure.
Mindset.
More stress. I think all the regions have kind of their own little flair, own kind of play style. These international events are the times where the most crossover can happen.
Just if like we can close the game on Zeta game and Talon game, we'll be happy now, probably already in Shanghai.
But we're going to use that as motivation to keep pushing. And obviously, because it's in Shanghai, we'll be able to play all the teams that come across in scrims. You might play like a Brazilian team in the scrim and you see something you've never seen, you're like, oh my god, yeah, let's steal that.
We're just doing what we can to prepare for the second split.
Significant change for us, especially coming to split 2, is changing the IGL.
If we ever go back B main, let's use it like as a burst place. Throw a jet smoke here and I just flash his exit, okay? And we get on top of his face, guys.
Russ was the main caller and Ben was kind of helping out with kind of secondary calls and kind of pitching in his ideas.
Polvi has nest, boys. Oh, you have knife and recon in 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm gonna recon right side.
Knife VCT.
Ben, his comms are so beautiful, man.
When Ben was talking more, we were winning more. Giving him the responsibility to do that and the freedom to do so would mean that he would speak more by default.
I'll be like the main IGL.
I don't think it takes Russ out of the game in any way.
Russ has been fragging really hard all the way through, and I think it's no secret that if you're thinking less about the broader picture of the game, you're able to focus more on your own individuals and your own crosshair, while also being able to contribute to the calls. That swap will make both players stronger and thus make the team stronger.
The main goal is obviously to qualify for champs.
We all moved across the world to come live in Korea to chase this idea of being in champions. We want to make it a champs, we want to win champs. Like, that's why we do it. There's no higher achievement for our job.
If we qualify for champs, the year is a huge success, regardless of anything else that's happened throughout the year. And obviously, if we don't do well enough to make it to playoffs, then the year will feel like a failure.
To make champions, you've got to make playoffs. To make playoffs, you've got to win games.
A lot less matches to be played like in split 2 compared to split 1. So I think it makes every game feel even more important.
Pretty important.
Hugely important.
Crazy important. Every game brings pressure and these games are no different. So Team Secret were our last game of the season last year. They knocked us out of playoff contention. They have players like Jesse Vash, who's been in esports a very long time. They've stayed together, they're very experienced together.
Their major thing that I think makes them a scary opponent is their ability to anti-strat really well.
I played against them. That's probably when I was in my previous team. They tend to have like a slower play style, and I always like found slower teams to be a bit more annoying to play against, just because of like how slow they are. Because of like how slow they are.
They managed to upset Paper Rex. Like, a lot of that comes from their kind of wealth of experience and ability to execute on the stage. So I think that's a huge strength that they have that some other teams are missing.
Sometimes a nervous people can say he's not nervous. That's why he's nervous.
You know, there's lots of stages to it, right? Anyone can perform in a ranked game, and then you go from a ranked game to like a scrim where it's like, okay, these are real opponents, people take it seriously. That's a step up in stress, and then you take that to the extreme and you put lights on them, you put them on stage, you've got hundreds of thousands of people watching them. They're playing for their jobs and their livelihood, they're representing their country. Like, the level of stress they're under is a lot. So we've been really focusing on how we get them to kind of forget about all that, let that melt away, and then just focus on the VALORANT, and we'll play in the best VALORANT that we absolutely can on that stage every time.
We'll be playing them as the first game with a big break beforehand, so they won't have a lot of a read on us. It will be very different this time around.
I think I want to beat them this time and punch our ticket to the playoffs.
Pretty sure I'll still be as annoyed when we play against them again.
Jeshufash, I'm gonna prove the world that you are old.
To which team are you not looking forward to play?
Bleed. Boring.
I think there's no doubt Bleed have always sought after the most in-demand players. You have to be careful because you don't know who's going to show up. I don't know what 5 players are going to have to play against us.
I think they have some strong individual players that can win them games, but it's a team that's having their own difficulties and their own troubles.
It doesn't really seem like they're very cohesive as a team. If you aim really well and your teammates don't know what you are doing, then it kind of causes that disconnect.
The way to beat them is all about teamwork and being a better team, not better individually.
We've been focusing more on like the way we play as a team and like finding our own identity.
We were able to beat them one time. We want to prove it's not a fluke.
We are much more superior than Bleed.
T1. They've just made it to the Masters Shanghai, which is fantastic for them. But if they could go to Shanghai with that record, there's no reason we couldn't have gone to Shanghai with that record.
People keep saying like they're one of the big four, but I don't think they are that good.
I wouldn't say that we are preparing anything specific for each individual team. I'm also like focused on how we are playing instead.
You're looking at any shredding and all this kind of stuff as well, but that's like the icing on the cake. That's a nice like flavor, but you can't just eat the tub of icing. You got to have a cake there as well. That cake comes from your own individual gameplay, your own like structures and fundamentals. We want our own game to be well fleshed out and solid so that we're able to make small adjustments to face each of these teams. In my mind, our biggest focus is baking that cake, having it be delicious and wonderful.
We're just kind of hoping that we refine it to the point where that playstyle will work against all 4 teams that we're going to face.
I'm gonna shut Executed down. Indo better.
You knocked us out of playoffs on round difference. It's the finest margin you can have, so I want to prove that round difference that got you to playoffs, that got you to Shanghai is meaningless when we go head to head.
I hope praying to Faker doesn't work out for you anymore.
The most interesting game is the Gen G game for me. Just on an individual level, they're tough to beat. All of their players are capable of just pulling out rounds from where they seem lost to pulling them back and winning them.
What are you supposed to do against that? That's unfair!
They are like very aggressive and they make a play like a lot individually.
I would say they are very well drilled. It feels like they're almost prepared or like always ready for like any kind of scenario.
Just shoot heads, bro. No matter what your plan is, that's not gonna work.
Texture, I love you, love working with you, but this time you got to go down, man.
Mindset is a big one. We need to modify our approach from feeling like we're an underdog team that has to scrap and fight for wins against bigger teams to feeling like we're capable and one of the big fish in the pond.
Right now, we're all feeling like a bit of pressure on like winning, but I think I'll try to steer away from that a bit because I'm taking on like a bigger responsibility.
It's definitely very hard to deal with, knowing that a lot of fans are sending DMs to your boss, telling them to fire you, things like that. It takes a toll.
It's something that I just got used to after a while, and I just learned to laugh at. Like I'd get like death threats all the time, which I thought was pretty funny.
Myself and for all of the players and for Morgan, BigTime as well. I want us all to feel like we're proud of the effort that we put in. And then when they went into the matches, they played the matches with the right mindset, good communication, and played at the level that they're capable of playing.
We just need to fight against ourselves. I think we can actually like win the whole thing.
You know, we're all that we've got, but we're all that we need. We don't need anything else to be able to really go all the way.
I do see like the kind of messages that you leave on our tweets, posts, whatnot, like YouTube videos. It still warms my heart that there's people that genuinely want our success. For the others, Chapo Ja Ben Chot.